and you still can't get a divorce, and you still can't break up with them. You still can't block them. Welcome back to another Raven episode of Psychopath Exposure. My name is Kita, and today I will be taking a question that came in from Chanel. Good morning, Kita. I have a special request. Is it possible for you to create a video that addresses why does a narcissist psychopath tendencies worsen as they begin to age? Or maybe I'm asking the wrong question, but I just discovered that my narc has been stalking my every move through my home surveillance system. He knows what doors open, where I'm going, and what I am doing. I changed the password and he was still able to log in. My anxiety and fear is increasing. Yes, psychopath narcissist tendencies do tend to worsen as they age, but actually, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't call it worsen. Maybe for the victim, it's worse. But for the psychopath, it's always better. Always. You see, these narcissists, these predators, are machines. They are learning machines, ever improving as they go along, plundering and terrorizing. They learn how to live by our rules. They learn how to operate in the most optimal way where they can extract the most narcissistic supply for the longest period of time without self-destructing or self-sabotaging it. A low-tier narcissist that's mostly concerned with appearances and what people think of them and attention, likes, status, and all this junk, yeah, they'll become better gold diggers, they'll become better charmers and seducers, but it's those long-term psychopath narcissists that really dial in to what they need to do, what they need to say at the most opportune time too, in order to keep you around for a long-term relationship, okay? And these are the ones that over time, sure, for you, for the victim, things are much, much worse. But if you notice, from the point of view of the psychopath, how long have you still been in that toxic entanglement? How long has this monster been abusing you worse and worse and worse over the years, and you're still in the entanglement, and you still cannot leave, and you still cannot throw them out, and you still can't get a divorce, and you still can't break up with them, you still can't block them. They do get better. And as you grow older and ever more lonely in this rotten world, just kidding, and you find yourself desperate to jump into a relationship so that you don't die alone, you increase the chances of meeting another monster because you're coming at it from desperation. You're coming at it out of need, not want, okay? And the universe only responds to seed, not need, okay? You have to plant the seeds of greatness. You have to plant the seeds of inside of you of self-esteem, of abundance, right? So that you're not out there desperately looking or desperately settling for the only thing that shows any type of interest in you. And remember where it is that you meet these people. Are you meeting these older psychopaths at some bar, at some cryptic location when things already feel shady and you come in there and you have this fairy tale story that really makes no sense, and really your friends are like, okay, that doesn't sound right. It's out of desperation. And it just goes to show how good these predators become over time. And even though you should be much, much wiser than you were when you were a teen, you're somehow still being charmed and seduced by these clever, conniving pieces of shit. And how did they get that way? How is it that over time, these sons of bitches can't finally realize that they're just out there hurting and self-sabotaging and just breaking hearts and always in some crazy entanglement, always at the short end of a stick? They don't see it that way. You know why? Because in their mind, in their delusion, you are the problem. In their delusion, everybody that they date has a problem. There's always something wrong. They have this bad luck. They're incapable of looking within and taking inventory to see, hey, wait a minute. What part in this destruction that I contribute? Did I have anything to do with the change in this relationship? You know how the narcissist always love bombs you at first, but then when they start devaluing and they start getting to that discard phase, it's usually because they realize that there was something wrong with you. You were not perfect like they idealized you to be in the first stages, the idealization love bombing stage. When they realized that you were a flawed human being and that you unintentionally hurt them and you caused a narcissistic injury early in the relationship, now they have to punish you. Why don't they realize that the one that changed, the one that really started screwing up was them? Okay, it was at that moment where a healthy individual will find your flaws. Like maybe they found flaws in you at the beginning, and they really, they weren't sure, but you guys kept dating and whatever, and now they start falling in love with your flaws. That's the beauty of a healthy relationship. Now they start falling in love with your imperfections. If your teeth are crooked, they're like, oh, that's what makes you sexy. That's what I like about you. They're not gonna like rip you apart if you cut your hair or change the color or something like that. Like they actually like you the way you are. But the narcissist, suddenly everything they used to love, now they hate. Oh, I love when you had long hair. You should cut it. And then you go and you cut your hair, and then they're like, oh, I only like women with long hair. You motherfucker. You just said you wanted me to cut my hair, right? They do shit like that. They'll do shit like that. And that's how they self-destruct, and that's how they ruin everything. That's how they ruin everything for themselves. But the smart psychopath will not do that. The smart psychopath will go around that urge to devalue you, right? And they'll torture and they'll punish you, or they'll get you hooked to them in another way, in a much more clever way. And sometimes it is through abuse, unfortunately. Somehow they're able to tap in to that thing that broke you as a child or as a teenager, and they're able to push those buttons and inflict their drug and that chemical imbalance in your mind. They're able to plant that seed based on that trauma. And that's pretty much what creates a trauma bond. Now at that point, you're unable to leave, because when you leave or when you're not around them anymore, it feels worse than when you're actually in the torturous situation. A clever narcissist, a clever psychopath gets better over time, and they're able to lure you and sucker you in much stronger than they would when they were like in their early 20s. Because when they were in their early 20s, they felt that they had all this abundance and they had an unlimited supply. But as they get older, they realize they don't have access to that harem anymore. As they get older, they realize, oh shit, my supplies are a little bit limited. Okay? They're not going to be careless anymore. They realize, oh, when I was careless before, I got caught. I was living a double life. I got caught. I need to be more careful. I can't ghost. I can't just disappear and not respond to texts, because they're going to get suspicious. So now that's when they're able to actually tell you what you want to hear more often. And you'll never see it coming. And when it comes, it's a fucking blow. And it doesn't matter how many blows you take to the heart or to your soul. You can't leave. You can't leave. And that's a trauma bond. I'm going to be making a series of videos on trauma bonds, because I feel that a lot of us have been in situations, even outside of a narcissistic relationship, we have been in situations where we become trauma bonded to our partner. And rather than helping each other move forward in a healthy way, you get stuck in this entanglement and you continue hurting each other. You can't live without each other, or so you think. And of course, for those that are still entangled, with a narcissist, with a toxic person like this, a trauma bond is like the Stockholm syndrome that keeps you stuck, that makes you catch feelings for your abuser, and the only one that can heal you is the same person that inflicts pain on you. So definitely going to be making videos. I've had a lot of requests to make videos on that topic anyway, and it's something that I personally experienced firsthand, and I figured out how to get out of it. So I want to share with you pretty much what I had to do and what has worked for me, and I'm sure hopefully you guys can take some of that shared wisdom and apply it to yourselves and see if it helps out. In the meantime, of course, if you'd like to work directly with me on a private one-on-one coaching session, I do offer that. I have an online coaching program, and I work with a lot of the community here on the channel, and it's really changing lives. It's really empowering people to get out of their toxic situations, and of course, how to conquer that PTSD and that trauma that comes after. Once you've left, once the psychopath has discarded you, once you're trying to rebuild your life, I help you figure those things out, put together an action plan, and it's a coaching, mentoring type of thing. I mean, remember, nobody gets this shit unless you've been through it. Your friends and family just don't get it. So sometimes it can get very, very lonely trying to do this on your own. So I put links below in the description where you could get more information on that if you're interested. And you can also download my free ebook straight to your phone or your computer, and the links below as well. And that's the 5 steps of going no contact with a psychopath narcissist, so that you can start establishing boundaries right away, boundaries that should have been established a long time ago when you saw the red flags, but were being gaslighted. Okay, all smoke and mirrors, remember? And I really appreciate the support. I love seeing everyone here in the community coming together and sharing their experiences. As you can see, everyone pretty much is going through the same thing. This is not a joke. This is real. This is real. It's not a coincidence that people all over the world are telling the same story. Just the faces and names have changed. Some situations seem a little rougher, some seem a little easier, but the trauma is the same. That thing stays with you for a long time if you don't do the work required to rebuild your life and start moving forward. It's rather unfortunate, but it's part of life, okay? And you won't appreciate the good without the bad. So this is your opportunity to really dig deep and do some work on yourself, so that the things you're going to experience after coming out of this blackness is going to be absolutely incredible. So definitely reach out to me for some mentoring and coaching. And thanks again, Chanel, for submitting your question. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to share with me, go ahead and email me at info@psychopathexposure.com. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now and click on the little bell notification so that you can get notified when I drop a new video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. And if you're not, now would be the best time to start. Change your thoughts, change your mood. That's how it works. All right, I think I've ranted enough for today. So I'm gonna go, but I will see you in the next video.